All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit more in depth about the 2020 Arnold Classic lineup, and specifically who I feel is going to be like the breakout star of this year's lineup. Now, there's a lot of big names in this lineup that we're expecting to do well. You've got Dexter Jackson, who's won this show many times before. You've got Cedric McMillan, who's won this show. You've got also Big Ramy, the first time ever he's doing the show, probably one of the biggest topics of conversation going into this Arnold Classic. But among all these big names, I think there's a bodybuilder that should be in the conversation a little bit more than he is, and he's not as big as some of these other names. But Patrick Moore. Patrick Moore is in this 2020 Arnold Classic lineup. This is going to be Patrick's first ever Arnold Classic. This past year's Olympia in 2019 was Patrick's first ever Olympia, where he placed within the top 10, placing 10th at the Olympia. And Patrick Moore is coming into this Arnold Classic lineup, in my opinion, with an immense amount of momentum. I think that Patrick was really one of the fan favorites from the 2019 Mr. Olympia. Even though he only took 10th, a lot of people were talking about Patrick and the fact that his conditioning was so good. He was arguably one of the better conditioned guys on that stage. And he really brings something different and brought something different to the Olympia stage this year that we haven't really seen in a long time. He's got very good lines, almost you could say classic lines, even though he's as big as a men's open bodybuilder. He had a crazy small waist. Again, that crazy conditioning. He hit a vacuum pose on the Olympia stage, which is something you almost never see in the men's open bodybuilding category. And he's actually an extraordinarily complete bodybuilder. I mean, it's really hard to find many flaws with his physique. Again, maybe just being a little bit smaller than some of the other men's open guys, but I think he brought something special to the Olympia stage. I think he's going to bring that same wow factor to the Arnold Classic. So when you have all these big names in the mix at the Arnold, I think Patrick might kind of get lost in that shuffle when people are making their Arnold Classic predictions, because Patrick isn't one of these gigantic names like a Dexter Jackson or a Cedric McMillan or a Big Ramy. But my prediction is that Patrick is going to surprise a lot of people at this 2020 Arnold Classic. Last year's Arnold Classic, for example, Luke Sando kind of shook up that lineup and placed within the top 3 when I think a lot of people weren't expecting to see Luke Sando in the top 3, but his conditioning was so good and he just looked so improved at that Arnold Classic. He made the top 3, and I think conditioning is going to be a key factor at this show, especially when one of the favorites here is Big Ramy. I think one of the most advertised and hyped guys in this lineup is Big Ramy. And as you guys know, the main problem with Big Ramy over the years has been conditioning. So while Big Ramy is one of the biggest names in this lineup and he's who everybody is talking about, there's a very strong possibility that the same problem that has haunted Big Ramy over the past couple years at the Olympia could also follow him into this Arnold Classic. There's the very real possibility that Big Ramy could come into the show and not be in shape. Because I think when you're making bodybuilding predictions, the safest route to go is to look at the trend of a bodybuilder. And the trend of Big Ramy thus far has been not coming in shape. So in all likelihood, if you follow the trend, the chances that he wouldn't come in shape at the Arnold Classic are higher than Big Ramy coming in shredded to the bone and seeing, the most lean version of Big Ramy that we ever saw. I think the chances of Big Ramy being off are higher than that. And then you see other big names in this lineup, like Cedric and Rolly. What's another problem that has plagued both Cedric and Rolly in the past couple of years? Conditioning, especially with Rolly, especially with Cedric. This is something that could catch them as well. But if you look at the trend over the past couple of shows with Patrick Moore, he's really not disappointed in any way, shape, or form. He's been in really good shape the past couple shows that he's done. So if you look at the trend for Patrick, I think Patrick is going to continue to improve and be better. And I don't say that from the standpoint of getting bigger. I think he's going to bring a very similar package to the Olympia. He's going to be very sharp. He's going to be very conditioned. He's going to have those great lines, that small waist, the V-taper, the vacuum pose. He's going to bring all that to the Arnold Classic stage. And if you have some of these big-name guys coming in out of shape, I think that's a prime opportunity for Patrick to come in and make a very big statement at this year's Arnold Classic. So my prediction is, it's going to be kind of a bold prediction. I think Patrick is certainly going to be in the top 6 at this year's Arnold Classic. And possibly, you could possibly see Patrick in the top 3 at this year's Arnold Classic. I think Patrick is the main bodybuilder to watch out for. And again, I think he's getting lost in the mix a little bit because there's so many big names in this year's Arnold, and Patrick isn't one of those big names yet. but I think he's going to be. And I think this year at the Arnold, he's going to prove that. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, or if you agree with the statements that I made in this video about Patrick. I think he's very underrated, and I think in the next year or so, you're really going to see him start to shine at a lot of these shows outside of the Olympia, like the Arnold Classic. And I think at his Arnold Classic debut in 2020, he's going to make a massive statement. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, Nick Strength and Power, signing out.